February 2026. The United States eliminates Iran's supreme leader. In less than 72 hours, over 900 airstrikes hit targets across the country. The Air Force is wiped out, the Navy is burning in the Gulf, and on paper it looks like a perfect military victory. But 4 weeks later, oil hits $126, Dubai starts evacuation protocols, and a new message appears. The strait stays closed. This is how the most powerful military in history won the war in days and lost control of everything that came after. The plan. The plan wasn't reckless, it was clean and surgical. Take out the head, and the body collapses. This is decapitation strategy. Remove leadership, break command, create chaos, force surrender. It worked before in Iraq and Libya, so there was no reason to think it wouldn't work again. At 6:45 a.m., Israeli jets strike a compound in Tehran. No warning, no escape. The supreme leader and his family are gone in seconds. Within hours, coordinated strikes follow. Nuclear facilities, missile silos, radar systems, command centers. Washington declares total operational superiority, and technically, that's true. What they missed, but here's what wasn't in the briefing. The leader wasn't just old, he was already dying. Years of illness, limited mobility, and intelligence suggest he knew the strike was coming. He had options: escape routes, bunkers, protection. He refused all of them. He stayed at his desk with his family because he wasn't trying to survive. He was trying to become something else. Martyrdom. In Western logic, death is failure, but in Shia ideology it can be victory. Martyrdom is power. It transforms death into fuel. And that's exactly what happened. His death didn't collapse the system, it activated it. Every soldier now fights harder. Every civilian feels personal loss. This is no longer politics. This is belief. System rewired. 48 hours, Iran adapts. There is no central command anymore, no single point of failure. Every region operates independently. Every unit has autonomy. This is not chaos, this is evolution, because now you can't destroy the system with one strike. You didn't remove the head, you created thousands of them. Strategic error. Then comes the second mistake. Targets. Tehran, Isfahan, Tabriz. Major cities, educated populations, urban middle class, people open to change, the exact demographic that could have destabilized the regime internally. Instead, they get bombed. Meanwhile, the hardcore loyalists are in remote regions, mountains, rural zones, largely untouched. So what happens? You eliminate potential allies and radicalize everyone else. Iran's response. Iran doesn't panic. It calculates and expands the battlefield, not just against America, but against its entire system. Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, critical nodes. Suddenly, these countries are asking why they are targets, and the answer is simple. Neutrality doesn't exist in war. If you host bases, provide airspace, and finance the system, you are part of it. The real target. This isn't about territory, it's about structure. The petrodollar system. Oil sold in dollars, profits reinvested into the US through stocks, bonds, and tech. This is the backbone of global economic power. And Iran doesn't need to destroy it, it just needs to shake it. Dubai. Illusion. Dubai looks invincible: glass towers, artificial islands, global finance. But it's fragile. Around 90% of the population are expats, workers, engineers, specialists. They're not loyal, they're temporary. The moment strikes begin, they leave. And when they leave, everything stops. No workforce, no services, no economy. You don't destroy Dubai, you unplug it. The Strait. Now the real weapon, the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow corridor about 20 miles wide, carrying around 20% of global oil every day. That's not just a route, that's a choke point. On March 2nd, Iran shuts it down, not symbolically but physically. Drones deployed, missiles locked, every ship becomes a risk, and risk alone is enough. Global shock. Oil surges instantly from under $100 to $126, but oil is just the surface. The Strait doesn't just export energy, it imports survival, food, medicine, Supplies. When it closes, the world loses oil and the Gulf loses everything else. A system built on wealth suddenly can't feed itself. Insurance collapse. Then comes the silent trigger. Insurance. Shipping doesn't move without it, and insurers don't take unmanageable risks. So they pull out or raise premiums to extreme levels, millions per trip. Within days, shipping traffic collapses by more than 80%. No explosion required, just risk. Drone war. Now the imbalance becomes obvious. Iran uses Shahed drones. Cheap, mass-produced, hard to intercept, costing $20,000 to $50,000. The U.S. responds with Patriot missiles at around $4 million each, often firing multiple per target. This is not a battle, it's math. Economic warfare. Iran doesn't need to win militarily, it just needs to drain resources. Every interception costs millions, every drone costs thousands, and over time that gap becomes unsustainable. Iran produces hundreds of drones monthly, while the U.S. produces far fewer interceptors yearly. This becomes a war of endurance. Mobility versus mass drones. Launch from trucks, mobile, disposable, able to fire and disappear into traffic. Meanwhile, Patriot systems are large, complex, static, visible from satellites, slow to deploy, and easy to target. One is invisible, the other is exposed. System failure. The U.S. military was designed for deterrence. Big, expensive, dominant. But not for swarm warfare and cost imbalance. Suddenly the advantage flips because the cheaper system can outlast the stronger one. Political pressure. 3 weeks in, markets react, energy prices spike, and global pressure builds. The U.S. threatens escalation with strikes on infrastructure. Iran doesn't respond. Talks are announced, Iran denies them, strikes are delayed, markets calm briefly, but nothing actually changes. New leader. A month in, a new leader emerges, the Sun. No public appearance, just a message. The strait remains closed. The war continues. No negotiation, no retreat. The trap. Now. The reality becomes clear. The U.S. cannot leave, because leaving means losing credibility and breaking alliances. But staying means spending millions every day defending against weapons that cost almost nothing. This is a trap. Final American power was built on one idea. Fear creates control. But what happens when fear stops working? The U.S. didn't lose the war. It won it too fast, and that's exactly why it can't finish it.